It is time to reorganize my bookshelves. I can't put books next to other books in series. I'm out of space. It's time. I am going to spend this afternoon taking all the books off my shelves, putting them into piles based on genre, author, etc., and then putting them back on the shelves. I've also got shelves over here, back there, there's one over here. I'll give you a little overview of what is kind of happening right now, a little before, if you will. Then we'll take them all off and I'll give you an after and a whole process. So I know this is actually going to be annoying and I'm gonna start sweating and maybe crying, but we need to do this and I'll be so happy when I'm done. So with that being said, I've got my water. I'm gonna crack open a Diet Pepsi and we're gonna take these books off the shelves. So let's do it. All right, this is my before. I've got my Sarah J Maas happening up here. I'm missing a few of these. My sister is borrowing them. Sarah J Maas. More fantasy. I've got adult fantasy here. More adult fantasy. This might be YA, but adult fantasy. Adult fantasy. And then this is like, why is this here with the fantasy? This is like mystery, thriller, YA. Then YA fantasy, and these two are adult fantasy, but they're by this same author. So I wanted to put them on the same shelf. YA fantasy, YA fantasy. Over here, more YA fantasy on the sides. This shelf is my romance shelf. Now, I do think I'm gonna have to combine these shelves a little because I have way more romance than I do fantasy. So we're gonna have to do some combining, but I'll show you how it is now. We've got historical romance, retellings / historical right here, reimaginings. Indie romance here. More romance, and more romance down there that you can't see. Harry Potter's sitting here. This is Sarah Adams, Hannah Bonham Young, Abby Jimenez, Carly Fortune, Julie Soto, Sideways books that you can't see, Ashley Poston, Amy Berry, the Well Matched series. These are like not series books. So I've got my hardbacks here. I don't have that many hardbacks, so they all stay together. Claire Gilmore here, and these are like single ones that I own. Lila Sage, Done and Dusted. This is all Elsie Silver, except this one wouldn't fit next to it, hence this was the catalyst for this change. Over here is more random romance, and then there's a few on the back. Back here is more, this is like women's fiction, and then Bridgerton. Last shelf, we've got was my sports romance section. So I've got lots of Elle Kennedy, some hockey romance here. This is not sports romance, but The Well of Winnipeg and Me is sports romance. These Alyssa Sussman books, not sports romance. 2 Annabelle Monagans, which are not with the other Annabelle Monaghan book I have. Hockey romance, and this is by Elle Kennedy, so it's with the other Elle Kennedys. This shelf my cat pees on, so there's nothing on this bottom shelf because her litter box is right here, and sometimes she'll just pee on this shelf, so it has to stay empty, unfortunately. Over here, we've got, these are my book of the month books that I have completed. There's a few books over here that I'm trying to sell and need to get rid of. This is my TBR right here, and my cat peed on this shelf as well, so there's nothing in it currently, but I do think I'm gonna put stuff back in there this time. So TBR, book of the month, a few book of the month TBR books that I didn't want to put down there yet. This is all of my Jessa Hastings. I mean, it's mostly Magnolia Parks. I've got the shoe covers and the original covers of Magnolia Parks, The Conditions of Will. These are some special edition copies of The Wall of Winnipeg and Me and All Roads Lead Here. And then back here are some YA romance. So this is all YA romance, and a few of these are on my TBR, and I just finished this actually. So this is like random, didn't have space for. These shelves. I've got 2 Emily Henry shelves, Lynn Painter, Allie Hazelwood, a few Allie Hazelwoods over here, and then these 4 are Rachel and Solomon. So these could be redone a little. And then over here, just some random favorites. I've got Freya Sampson, these Emma of 83rd and Elizabeth of East Hampton, like reimaginings, Catherine Isaac, Kate Claiborne, and Ellen O'Clover. So that's what's happening over here. That's kind of a lot. And then we come out into the living room, and my roommate and I have like a shared shelf out here. And I've just got a few up here. These are my, except for Shield of Sparrows, my Germani stuff, plus Shield of Sparrows. So I got a special edition of The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, which is of course gorgeous, alchemized, Rose and Chains, and that Irresistible Urge again, and then Shield of Sparrows. And then the rest of these are my roommate's books, but I can put some things out here. These are more like display books, but I have the cloth-bound classics of Emma, Sense and Sensibility, and Cranford. I have read all of those. This is my favorite edition of Pride and Prejudice. It's gorgeous. Some like coffee table books, and then also these Penguin in Bloom versions of the classics as well. So I've got Sense and Sensibility, Emma, Anne of Green Gables, and Pride and Prejudice, and I have read all of those. I don't let myself purchase this version unless I've read the book. So those are all my books. They're kind of spread out, and I don't have like my shelves. I love my shelves, but if I was recommending shelves for you, I would not recommend the shelves that I have because they're square and they're just odd shapes. So with that said, we're taking all the books off the shelves, and I'll time lapse this for you. It's gonna be quite boring, but sometimes it's fun to watch a fun time lapse. So let's do it. Okay, all the fantasy books are off the shelf. I dusted, it's all clean now. So that's nice also. There's always so dusty. Books collect dust. So here they all are laid out in the piles that I've kind of created. This is all adult fantasy. This is indie published fantasy, adult mystery, YA mystery, YA fantasy. These are like more YA fantasy group by author. Chloe Gong books, all of Lee Bardugo's books. This is Marissa Meyer, and these are the 2 new Hunger Games books. And this is all the assortment of things that I like store on my shelf that aren't books, like this little hat, this vase, a little jelly cat, this guy, this pirate's pierogi, a wand, some like vitamins and other things that probably should have a different home, but I do store them on my shelf. This is dusty, but oops. So we're gonna go put stuff onto the shelf. Sorry, I went to manual focus there. We're gonna put stuff on the shelf. I'll walk you through it a little bit. It might stay close to the same, but again, I'm gonna just try and make it a little bit more organized. But we'll see if that's possible. Okay, so I am gonna keep the top shelf as Sarah J. Maas. I'm missing the last 3 books in ACOTAR, so that'll have to be it for now. I've got the box set of all of Throne of Glass, which really only has one place that it could go. I could turn it sideways, which we might try that. And then display my OG cover of Throne of Glass. I just have the one facing forward. Okay. And then I've got these gorgeous Barnes & Noble special editions of Crescent City. And third one, but they don't automatically come out with this version, so I also have the hardback of this, which I've tabbed, so I don't feel like I need to, like, I thought about getting rid of it, but I have tabbed it, so if and when I do a reread, maybe I'll like transfer those tabs to this version, but for now, next. I think I'm gonna do Fourth Wing next. And then possibly Light Lark. Is this the same height? The thing is, like, none of these books are the same height. It's close, I guess. And then I think I can fit the third book in the Assistant to the Villain series here, so I'm gonna leave a little space. I'm gonna put the first 2 Outlander books here because I've only read the first one. Same goes with these 2. I've read Serpent and Dove, but not Blood and Honey, and I know there's a third, Gods and Monsters, which I might read at some point. Also, the back cover of this ripped off, which is awesome. Every time I am redoing my shelves, I'm like, do I get rid of those? But then I keep them because I'm like, I might read that. Who knows? Okay, I've got the Bridge Kingdom series, and these are the OG covers. For the first 4, and then they republished them with new covers, and they had already stopped printing these by the time I got to book 5, so I have the new cover of book 5, which is annoying that it doesn't match the others, but it is what it is. And I'll put this on the other side. I'm also gonna put Mistborn right here. I guess I'll put it here because it's the same height. It's better. Okay, I'm gonna put the Divine Rivals up here. Even though they're not adult fantasy, they're YA fantasy, like super YA fantasy, just because they like are close to the same height as those books. Okay, now I've got my indie published fantasy. You know, that indie published like feeling. The covers are matte rather than shiny, and they just have that, you can tell it's been indie published, which I love. Could stack them up. I'm never sure which way like actually saves me space, but we're gonna go stack horizontally. Okay, definitely space saved there. And then I'll put Metal Slinger there. Stunning. What now? Maybe I can fit Chloe Gong up here. I've got and then I'll put the other two Chloe on the inside. Like that. Okay, I'm gonna do a little more and I'll come back to show you what I've done. Okay, shelf empty. I'll show you what the piles are, what they mean. So this is all Elsie Silver. This pile and this pile are books that I only have one from that author. I've got Lucy Score, and then underneath that, Tessa Bailey, Mariana Zapata, Christina Lauren, Jen DeLuca, Sarah Adams, Ashley Poston. These are sets of two. I've got Alyssa Sussman, Ashley Winstead, Clara Gilmore, and Lana Ferguson, Julie Soto, Hannah Bonham Young, Carly Fortune, Mari McFarland. All the ones on the floor are contemporary romance. No theming at all, the ones on the floor. I'm just grouping them by author. Annabelle Monaghan, Sophie Cousins, Elle Kennedy. These are a seasonal reads. This is just like general fiction here. These are hardback books. And these are like women's fiction. Books about books. Those were YA that need to go somewhere else. This is all my historical fiction. And these are reimaginings here. I've got Jenny Colgan here. And then my special edition of Red, White, and Royal Blue there. And these are indie published romance. So those are all my romance that were on this shelf, spread out and arranged. Now this is where I get overwhelmed trying to figure out how to put all these books back on the shelf. Some of them will probably go on the other shelf because I have a little bit of room left over there, and I'll talk you through some of this. Let me change out the battery because this battery is about to die. I'm gonna start kind of how it was before with historical romance at the top, but we're gonna try and arrange it a little better this time. So let's do that first. Wait, first I need to dust the shelves. I'll be back. Lots of dust. Okay, now we'll put these up. Okay, let me tell you, it's kind of hard to get back and forth with all these books on the floor. Keeping series together. Okay, now we gotta put the Bridgerton books up there. And these are the mass market paperback. Hard for me to remember where do they go in. I'm putting these around the back like I had them before. I should reread those. They're very good. Maybe I need to do a whole month where I only reread books. That could be kind of fun. Okay, now on this side, I'm gonna do my reimaginings. I've got the hardbacks, and then series. And then finally, Curtis. Okay, done with that shelf. Now, okay, I'm gonna put contemporary romance that I just have one from that author. I have a stack of these. Okay. I am gonna keep these ones separate because they're hockey romance, and I'm gonna put the hockey / sports romances together. So although I only have one of each from each of these authors, I'm gonna put them with the hockey. So I'm setting those aside. Okay, got a pretty tall stack of those. I'm like, what else could I put on top? Alyssa Sussman, will she fit up there? Yes, she will fit perfectly. That stack, done. Now, what do I have enough that would fit there? Do I have two of any? Julie Soto fit. Okay. I've got my 2 Julie Soto and then my 4 Carly Fortune there. And then here, I'm gonna put Lucy Score, Tessa Bailey, I think. Like ones that I don't really reach for. Christina Lauren. Actually, I'm gonna put these lower down because I, again, don't reach for them as much. Those are down there. What could go back there? I'll put Well Met Books, Ashley Poston, Ashley Winstead, Lena Ferguson. Okay, that's giving single. One will fit there, which unfortunately I don't have any singles left. So I'll just put this one Claire Gilmore and then the other Claire Gilmore on top like that. This is where things get tricky. I just put Annabelle Monaghan and Sophie Cousins there. Let me give you a different angle so you can see. Okay, so I just put Annabelle Monaghan, Sophie Cousins. I'm gonna put Sarah Adams, Mari McFarlane, that's Abby Jimenez there. Or maybe I'll do Will My Hannah Bonham Young fit there? Yes. I have 2 versions of Out on a Limb. I have the indie publish and the regular publish, and 2 versions of Next. Oh wait, I have Next of Kin in the. Just kidding. Okay. I don't have. The only one I have 2 versions of is Out on a Limb. Something can go there. I'm not sure what, but I will. I'm sure think of something. I'm gonna put my Abby Jimenez on the inside, as well as my Lila Sage. I think I want to make this some sports romance, and thus I'm also putting Mariana Zapata there because Wall of Winnipeg and From Lukov with Love are sports, and then I've got these gorgeous special editions that I will display. Man, I've got a hunchback happening. Kind of like that, so you can see them prettily. I've got 4 seasonal romances, and these are going on the inside. Jenny Colgan is also going. Now I've just got big stacks of Elsie Silver and Elle Kennedy, and then my indie published, and then my like hardback stuff. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and I'll come back and show you the complete shelves. Okay, I'm gonna tackle this section next and just like put them, it'll be the same books, but like a little bit betterly arranged.
Got to let it go. You got to let it go.
Got these very pretty, I've got the UK cover paperbacks of the first 3 Emily Henry books, and then I've got the mass market paperback of Beach Read, which I love. The regular paperbacks of Beach Read and Book Lovers, but not People You Meet on Vacation. The Book of the Month, Beach Read. Great Big Beautiful Life, but the paperback with the UK cover. The Beach Read Special Edition, which is gorgeous. Funny Story Special Edition, again, gorgeous. The a signed copy of Great Big Beautiful Life. The Waterstones exclusive edition of Funny Story. Regular Funny Story. And 3 versions of Happy Place. I've got the one that I read and annotated, a signed copy, and the Waterstones exclusive. I do think like I don't feel like I need 3 copies of this of Happy Place. I think I'm going to get rid of my annotated. I don't want to get rid of the signed copy. I guess I'm going to keep all 3. As you can tell, I love Emily Henry, but I have too many versions of all of her books. You know what? I am getting rid of the version that I annotated of Happy Place. I don't need it. I'm also getting rid of the Waterstones exclusive version of Funny Story. And I will keep the Illumicrate edition because it's signed and it also has these gorgeous like end papers.
You got to let it go.
And then all my paperbacks on this other one over here. And I'll do Funny Story on the bottom just because it's the same size as the other paperbacks. It's a little smaller. And then I put the Waterstones or the UK version of Great Big Beautiful Life, even though it's paperback, with the other hardbacks because it's large. And that is these shelves done. I guess I'm just gonna leave this the same over here. Like these books are okay. An okay choice for over here. I'm not gonna touch those because I don't like have anywhere else to put them. And these are books that I'm gonna get rid of. So I am going to post them on my Pango Books, which will be linked somewhere, maybe down below. My links haven't been working, but I'll post them on Pango Books and you can buy them there, or you can't and I will just give them to Goodwill. So that is what this pile is doing, being unhauled. So I'm currently editing this video. I realized I did not show you the completed actual shelves ever. So enjoy this pretty look a few days / weeks later of my shelves. And luckily they still look just as good now as they did when I first redid them. So you can see at the top, Sarah J. Maas. This is adult fantasy here. Lightlark, Fourth Wing, more adult fantasy, except these two are YA. They just fit size-wise next to this. And then these aren't really fantasy again, they just fit size-wise next to all these. This is like thriller and mystery, and then one singular YA fantasy, just because it fit there nicely. We've got my indie published fantasy, Chloe Gong here, and then 2 more Chloe Gong on the inside. Here I've got YA mystery and YA fantasy, and then a few other YA fantasies that I only have one, and then a little powerless novella. Here is my Leigh Bardugo section with Shadow and Bone, these new editions of Six of Crows, and then the King of Scars duology. And then the selection right there, just because it fit there again very nicely. And then on the bottom is my Marissa Meyer, and this is, and then also Victoria Aveyard, except I broke up the series, all of them, because that way they would be next to books that were the same size as them. So like Winter goes with Cinder and Crest, but it's over here because it's hardback. Then we've got Fatebreaker and Bladebreaker. Skip one, Realm Breaker, just because this is the paperback version. And then all of the Supernova series are separated, because the first one I have in this paperback. The second one I have in a paperback, but this is the mass market paperback, so it's smaller than this one, which is the actual paperback version. And then I also have the hardback, so that series is completely separated, but it looks better that way to me. And it's still near the other books in the series. And then on the inside over here, I've got the These Hollow Vows and series. These are all Trisha Levensteller, the Pirate King series. And the third one is a much bigger paperback than the first two, so that's why it's kind of out of order and next to this standalone book that I have. Then I've got more YA fantasy. Again, the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy is separated because I wanted to put the first one next to other paperbacks that were the same size, so it's separated from the other two in the series. And then down here are just random fiction books that I moved over from my other romance shelf. Still at the top here is historical romance, and these are reimaginings. And then on the inside is Bridgerton. These are all contemporary romance by random authors. Then I've got Alyssa Sussman, Carly Fortune, Julie Soto, Claire Gilmore, Mari McFarlane, Sarah Adams, Sophie Cousins, Annabelle Monaghan, Hannah Bonham Young. This is my sports romance shelf. These are all hockey, and then this one is like ice skating. This is football, and this is not, but these are the same author. And then on the bottom shelf, I've got Elsie Silver here, her new series, and then Elle Kennedy going all the way up here, which is more romance, I guess you could, not romance, sports romance. So it's near the other sports romances. Then on the inside, I've got more contemporary romance here. Rachel Lynn Solomon, she was over here, and I moved her back here. Beth O'Leary, 2 Elsie Silvers, because they kind of go with the Done and Dusted Rebel Blue series, and then Abby Jimenez. And then down here behind Harry Potter is Christina Lauren, Tessa Bailey, and Lucy Score. Obviously, Harry Potter box set. And then on the inside here, I've got my indie published series. So these are all Devney Perry, except the last two here are other indie published, Picking Daisies on Sundays and Daydreamer. And then here are my hardbacks of Taylor Jenkins Reid, and then my copy of The Women. I've got Jenny Colgan back here, and then my seasonal romances. Here are the rest of my hardbacks: Jojo Moyes, Tessa Bickers, The Wishing Game, other randoms, and then Mary Kay Andrews. And then here on the back of the shelf that also had Elsie Silver and Elle Kennedy is the rest of the Elsie Silver books, except for the first two of the Chestnut Spring series, which are over here. So, I know that is a lot, but it's how we had to do it. Some people still had to get split up from the other books in their series, but it is what it is for now. And I feel good. So, and then you already saw me do these over here, and these over here stayed the same. So that is the final overview of all of the books on my shelf. Also, last and final thing, the books that I had on my bed that I said I was going to list on my Pango Books, they were up there for a little bit. I sold a few, and then I took the rest to Half Price Books, so they're no longer up on Pango Books. I took probably 12 to 15 books to Half Price Books and got 30 bucks, which is about what I expect whenever I take stuff to a consignment store. So I feel good about this. I think it looks nice and organized, and obviously I'll try and keep it that way for as long as possible, but with the books that are on my TBR, who knows how long that will last. So thank you so much for watching me rearrange my shelves. I do this probably once or twice a year. I know I filmed it when I did it last year in the fall. So here is your annual me reorganizing my bookshelves as I get more and more books. And I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet.